welcome to the... Okay. That time, it wasn't me bailing out of the intro on purpose, that was just me screwing it up. Alright, so, the Fandom Flux podcast, episode... What's the episode?
230?
Is it 230? Patient, you know better than we do.
It's 2:30.
Okay. Which is appropriate because I need a dentist appointment. Yeah. Ba-dum-ts. Alright. So, I'm Casey. How's it going? The guy that has terrible comedy. And we have Kenchi.
Hi, I'm Kenchi618. And don't try and write my intros for me, patient. I don't need to do that.
I was trying to help.
Nah. Don't ghostwrite for me.
You ingrate. Just being a good guy. It's like, figgy. Also, Patient. Who is a nice guy. Patient?
Yes, I'm here. Am I coming through?
Yes.
Okay.
Slicer was here.
Slicer was here, and then I think his internet died.
Oh,
and then he's
God, there he
back.
is.
Speak of the devil.
Slicer.
There we go. Okay.
Yep.
So Discord crashed, and I then decided to restart and update itself 7 times.
Huh.
Well, that's inconvenient.
It
Very.
was thorough, I suppose.
Oh,
Well-
not only did it crashed badly. It's still open, technically. I have Discord open twice.
Ah. That'd be like a task manager situation, I'd have thought. It's just...
I'm just going to call, just in case.
Okay.
It's working now. That's all that matters.
Okay. So, Ken,
See?
you're in pain. Why are you in pain?
Oh, okay. We'll start with that.
Yeah.
Well, last weekend, I completely exhausted myself and didn't get time to recover during the week. So I plan to spend this last weekend, healing, not doing anything important. Maybe I'd be able to finish the Mega Man X playthrough. But none of that happened. Because Friday evening, I got a call from a friend of mine who was like, hey, want to come wrestle for some kid's birthday party tomorrow morning? And I was like, yeah, why the fuck not? Let's do that. So I ended up leaving my house at like 8 o'clock in the morning and driving 3 hours to get to some place in North Carolina for some kid's birthday party at noon where I would be wrestling. So I had that match. And it wasn't a big deal. I was like, I didn't plan to do anything on Saturday, but it's right at noon. I can have this match. The show will probably be over by like 2 or something, and then I can go home and I have the rest of the day to myself. That is not what happened.
Oh, dear.
So I had this match, birthday party. It was like me and 2 other dudes wrestling at the same time against each other. But we didn't really do anything because it was like a kid's birthday party, and I am not about to kill myself for a goddamn birthday party.
Yeah.
Fair.
So it was pretty, low key. Then after that show was over with, they're like, hey, you want to stay for this other show we're doing tonight that's an actual show? And I was like, I hadn't planned on it. But they had planned on putting me in the ring with a friend of mine who was, he was going to have like a big angle that night. And they just wanted someone to have a match with him that would make him look really good before that angle. And they knew we knew each other, so they let me have that match with him. So to help out my friend, and because I've been asked to do it, and because I had no reason not to, I was really tired, I stayed and did it. But before that, I had to wrestle again at like 4 in the afternoon. So I wrestled 3 times that day. I got no sleep. I ate like once. And the last match that night that I had with my friend, it was only like 5 minutes long. But it was like, okay. But when we were coming up with it, we were like, okay, you only have 5 minutes to do this. The most important thing is your segment. Let's just get through this. We didn't really come up with any, ideas. We were just like, okay, you're big. I'm big. Not as big as you. No one cares about me. Everyone cares about you. Let's just have this match where we beat the shit out of each other. Just 5 minutes of pummeling the dog out of each other.
Fair enough.
And that is what we did. And it's on Twitch.
Oh, yes. Kenchi, you come through at the best, worst times. I don't know why the worst part came into that I don't know, I guess I just wanted to shit on you.
It kind of was the worst time because I was tired as hell by the time this match happened.
Yeah.
Like, when we were talking about the match in the back, because we knew we were going to wrestle each other hours before the show started. And we were like, okay, I have no idea how long they're going to... He was freaking out because it was like, oh, we have this big angle tonight. And I'm like, I don't know how long this match is going to be. And he was like trying to come up with ideas for the match. And I was like, dude, you really don't need to come up with ideas for this match. I guarantee you it's not going longer than like 5 minutes. And lo and behold, when the sheet came out, they whenever someone put the show together, they make a list of the matches and write down how long you have to get this match in at the most. Lo and behold, right there on the sheet, right next to our names in this match, fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I know what my place on the card is and I know what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, looking tired is probably not a bad thing if basically you're there just to be a jobber. So, it's probably fine.
Yeah, but it was a situation where, like, okay, I'm only in it for 5 minutes. I'm going to make this the best 5 minutes I can make it. So half of it is just, like, me kicking the shit out of him.
Never mind that.
And the other half's him tanking it.
Anywhere that isn't Twitch, by the way?
Huh?
Twitch does not work on my connection at all.
This will probably end up on YouTube at some point, like 2 weeks from Wednesday.
Okay, that sounds good.
So I'll try and get that up there too. Because the way they do the Twitch for this promotion, they have one set camera angle. But for the YouTube, they'll have like different camera angles and different cuts and things.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So if you still care in 2 weeks, I'll try and find that one.
Yes. I still can't watch the first one you sent. I've been trying to, but I can watch maybe 2 seconds of it at a time.
That one's probably never going to go up on YouTube.
Damn it.
So.
Oh.
So anyway, yeah. I was kind of, dead after that, and I had to drive home. But before that, another reason why I was so tired going into that Saturday is because I hadn't planned to wrestle that Saturday. So that Friday night, I had to see the late viewing of Mission Impossible Fallout, starring Tom Cruise. And, it was okay. It was pretty good. It was Mission Impossible. It's a pretty consistent franchise as far as action movies go. We'll say this, though. Tom Cruise running, at full sprint is the most majestic thing I think I've seen on screen in, months.
Okay.
It's outstanding. There's this chase scene that lasts 15 minutes in that movie. I could have watched that shit for the whole 2 hours.
Doesn't he run a lot in his movies? That's kind of an ongoing joke.
Yeah, pretty much. But, I legitimately could have watched 2 hours of this. The best part about it was that throughout this entire chase sequence, there's Tom Cruise running in different settings. He runs through an office. He runs through the streets. He runs through, some tunnel or something. He runs on a rooftop. He goes to all these different places. The camera cuts to him, and then the guy he's chasing, and then him and the guy he's chasing. Tom Cruise never fucking turns when he's on camera running during these chase scenes. It's just him running straight. It's pretty great.
Okay.
You don't understand my amusement at this.
No.
Let's see. Aside from that, not a whole lot going on. Oh, I released a chapter of Less Than Zero, I think, over the last week.
Was it Less Than Zero? I thought it was the other one.
What the fuck did I do? I did one or the other. I don't remember.
I think it was the X-Men one, because it was the thing about setting up a double date or group did.
Oh
or
yes,
something.
it was the X-Men thing, Extraordinary
Yeah.
Times. I did
Yeah.
that. Yes, my apologies. So I did that. And I think that's about all I got this week. So yeah, there's probably a link in the descriptions about me getting the shit beat out of me on Twitch.
Yeah. First link, probably. Below the Discord and Patreon.
So if you have 5 minutes to burn, feel free to watch that. It might make you happy.
I guess I'll go next. So, not really done especially much this week, I guess. I checked out No Man's Sky again, because it had that huge update thing. It was
After
like,
all
hey,
the stuff came out.
yeah, it's like, hey, we added in all of the shit that was supposed to be in it 2 years ago. Which,
Well, a lot of shit, anyway.
yeah, which, fair enough. Like, there's a lot of people that are still giving them shit about it, which I think is a little unfair at this point. Like, if you wanted a refund after it came out, you could pretty much get one. Literally everyone was saying, okay, if you want a refund, you can have one, no questions asked, because this is too much of a shit show for us to get, like, pissy over. So, if you wanted a refund, you could get one. If you didn't, that's kind of on you at that point. So, now that they've added everything in, it's still not actually that fun a game.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I had one real complaint about the game, and that hasn't really been resolved. It's the fucking Sentinels that are the most annoying thing ever. Like,
Are those flying enemies? What are those?
yeah, those are the little robots that fly around. Like, 80% of the game is gathering resources, but if you're on a planet that has Sentinels on it, then if you try and gather resources, they will immediately make a beeline for you and just sort of stare at you as if to say stop. And if you don't stop, you get into like a 2-minute fight that you don't care about before you can start harvesting materials again, which, again, is like 80% of the game that you have to stop for 30 seconds and just sit there for the thing to fuck off, or you have to get into a protracted fight that you don't care about so you can get back to doing what you're actually trying to fucking do. It makes it a chore. Even more than gathering materials is anyway.
That sounds horrendous.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass, and I forgot that was the reason why I didn't like No Man's Sky. So, nice to have the reminder. All the other shit that you've fixed and patched in doesn't really make up for that really kind of boneheaded game design decision. Just like,
would replacing the Sentinels with different enemies that kind of safeguard certain worlds be okay, or is it just the concept in general that annoys you?
I'd prefer that as like just a thing that, yeah, they're not everywhere, but if there is like high value resources that you would really want to go and get, they're being guarded. That would make sense, rather than just there's an iron deposit and they really want to protect that iron deposit. Like, no, fuck off. Who cares? Yeah,
Listen,
so
iron is a valuable resource.
it's really not.
It used to be.
Or, okay, if you prefer carbon, which is like 90% of the things that you can harvest are carbon, and they want to protect that carbon.
I don't know. Maybe it's like a loop of value. Like it's gotten so worthless that now it's super valuable again for no reason. I don't know.
I don't know.
None of that makes sense.
Yeah, so the game is prettier now. It has multiplayer, but I don't care about multiplayer. It has, like, more deeper crafting. It has, like, better, like, trade and stuff, and the aliens actually matter and stuff, so learning their language actually matters and stuff. But just the basic gameplay loop is kind of busted because the stupid fucking Sentinels that are just there for literally no reason. Like, they're supposedly there for some galactic authority or something, but you never see them. So,
Next update. Woo.
It's just pointless. It's just pointless. It's just busy work, and yeah. So, wasn't a fan of that. But I still didn't get a refund, so that is still entirely on me. Go figure.
No Man's Sky is $30? What the fuck?
60 is full price. I think 30 is like they're doing a sale because hey, come back. Next is good, we promise, except it's not.
I'm cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't, to be honest. There are other debatably better crafting survival games out there.
Just over 1 month till Spider-Man. I'm saving my money.
Speaking of, I was going to segue, but Kenshi botched it because fuck you, Kenshi.
You're welcome.
I, on a whim, downloaded another Minecraft mod pack called Sevtech, which is pretty interesting because it kind of just undermines a lot of the basic things you know about Minecraft. Like, you can no longer just punch trees to get wood. If you punch trees and you break the block, it hurts. As in, you lose health from doing that. Which I think is kind of interesting, if a little confusing. And it reorders, like, there is a tech tree now, so to speak. Like, you can't just make anything and you can't just harvest any resources if you happen to have the thing that lets you harvest it. Like, you can have... Like, there are plants and flowers and all sorts of shit, and they're everywhere. But if you haven't gotten to the high enough like point in the tech tree, you have no idea what those things are, and you can't use them at all. Which... yeah, it adds a nice progression element to Minecraft that it was kind of lacking, just in general. So, it's pretty cool. Like, it adds, like, a lot of the bigger mod stuff, like Galacticraft and stuff like that, and as well at the, like, top end of the tech tree. So, I'll probably have some fun with that as things go. It's pretty cool. So, it's pretty well established at this point. I have a Patreon now, a personal one, for writing and writey stuff. It's interesting. I've not gotten so many negative reviews in my entire history of writing as I have in the past month, where I've started saying, hey, maybe kick a couple bucks my way.
Yep.
That's... I'm not really going to say it's a bad thing. It's just an interesting thing. Like, as soon as you ask for money, literally ask for money, it's like suddenly the value of what you're doing is ascribed a higher value, and thus people expect more from it, maybe?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Which, you know, is actually kind of rich because only 2 people are donating currently, and one of them is patient, so... I'm pretty sure one of them is you, unless some random people decided to kick $30 my way for a Patreon that had existed for an hour at that point.
Stranger things have happened.
I'm so confused.
Excellent.
It's totally him. Okay. Thank you.
For a second, I thought Slicer's connection dropped again.
No, my mic just stops working after a while. It's kind of weird. And
yeah, it's kind of weird.
I have found Patreons with like 1 or 2 people before, just randomly exploring Patreon, the site. So, I mean, yeah, it happens.
Yeah. So, but you know, people being more critical is actually kind of just a general good thing also. Like, hey, I didn't like this, here's why. And everyone's a critic, but I like critics. That's a good thing. Like, one of the main complaints I get from people when I review things is that I'm too critical and say too many negative things. I want to hear negative things, so I know what's broken so I can fix it. So
Indeed.
it's kind of nice that I'm getting more criticism. It's like everything is a net gain for me in this circumstance.
Criticism is important. Flames, on the other hand, if they're just saying, you're a terrible writer, you shouldn't do this, you should look into doing something else.
Wow, that's way nicer than most flames I see.
Well, don't expect me to swear.
Yeah.
But yeah, every little bit of detail for something that bothers someone in your writing, that's incentive to do better and the story more of what it can be. That's honestly why I involve myself in the story. Beyond this bites, anyway, yes, what was I saying? One pang and my train of thought goes off.
Okay. So, yeah. What was I? Yeah, reviews. Like, the most flamey review I guess I've gotten, aside from the whole weird Pokemon thing that was weird, is probably just someone saying, I think it was technically competent, but otherwise somewhat bland. Which is the meanest thing and most useless review I've gotten. Because that doesn't tell me why. So, I responded, technically a review, but otherwise somewhat useless. But thanks for reading. So, it's always fun when I can just play with things like that.
Right.
Okay, Slice is going to drop in and out. That's a thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, sorry. With the
Alright.
microphone being what it is, yeah, I have to.
And okay. So I kind of need to talk about this or the Discord is going to get mad at me. So there was a thing
My
that
God.
happened on God, what I think was it Saturday? It might have been Friday night. I don't know. No, it was Saturday night because I was like, no, it was Friday night. Who cares? And I was in the middle of writing a chapter. It was the Ruby thing that I updated this week, which was fun, by the way. I wrote a good fight scene. I'm proud of myself. And I went into the Discord and said, I'm in voice chat. Distract me. Writing. And the Discord people just leapt at the call, is what happened, really.
I was online for like 30 seconds that night. There were like 12 people in the voice chat. That was crazy.
Yeah, and I got a bottle of mead and drank all of it.
Oh.
And at some point, like, it was a fun night. I'm not gonna lie, it was great fun. But at some point, we got into a discussion of the merits of morality and ethical behavior when it comes to superheroing vis-a-vis My Hero Academia. And Ryu had some thoughts that were interesting. And I recorded most of it. And it is now on the YouTube channel as an unlisted video.
I look forward to listening to this.
It is currently pinned on the public Discord general chat. I will also link it in the description. It's special, is what I'll say.
I'll take a look with great caution.
Yeah. I think there was some mentions of purging the unclean. So people were very drunk. It was weird, but fun. Yeah. So that was a good night. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. Yeah. Oh, and also, it's not a public video because I didn't realize I had Coheed and Cambria playing in the background. So that's just that's why that's unlisted. No other, literally no other reason. I would totally make this public otherwise. But yeah, that would get copyright struck like immediately. Whoops. Yeah.
Listen. If you cannot have a civil discussion with your Patreon and Discord followers with the running free blasting in the background, I don't want to know.
I'm pretty sure it came on at some point. Yeah. Also, Kenji, I'm totally glad that you actually picked up on who Coheed and Cambria are.
I know things.
Yeah, it's a good band. Fucking weird though. Like.
Yeah, all their videos are weird as shit that I've ever seen.
All of their albums are based on comic books written by the lead singer, and the comic story is the first half of it is Coheed and Cambria, which are like a married couple fighting something, like it's a sci-fi story, and then the second half is their kid named Claudio. By the way, the lead singer's name is actually Claudio, and he's the savior of the galaxy or something.
I mean, if you're gonna cross-promote,
Yeah.
that's how you do it.
Self-insert sci-fi story, and every album's a concept album. They all have titles like fucking Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4 or something. Oh, it's great. It is the best sci-fi cheese. They're like the modern day Styx. It's fucking great. So, yeah, that's pretty much me. Done. Patient, how you doing?
I've been pretty well over the past week. I missed the podcast last week due to one of my coworkers having an obligation to her family on Tuesday. So, in exchange for working Tuesday, I got Saturday off. That was a nice break.
Yeah, Saturdays.
Yeah. Pressure at work as a whole has dropped off. It was a ridiculous windfall. In fact, we were supposed to get 62 new accounts this month. When I left on Saturday, I think we had about 40 at most. No, when I left on Friday, I think we had about 40 at most. Probably more around the mid-30s. And an hour before we closed yesterday, probably 2 hours before we closed, we had passed our quota for the month. Yeah. So that's nice.
Yeah, that's like a last-minute kind of rescue thing. That's weird. But good. But weird.
Yeah. So, for next month, which starts tomorrow, work... Hold on a second.
Phones. I need a new phone. Mine's busted.
What'd you do to it?
Dropped it a couple times, but also it's like 2 years old and the smartphone, thus they're made to just be obsolete. As soon as possible, so.
I don't break my phones ever because screw paying for a new one. This one does everything I need it to do, and it is also 2 years old.
Sorry about that.
It's alright.
Where was I? Ah, yes. Next month starts tomorrow.
It does. That's how months work.
And my quota for next month remains the same. I'll just need to bring in 3 or 4 accounts by the 23rd of next month, because on the 24th, I leave for Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, Canada, etc. Something land, yeah.
I don't know Canada's national anthem.
Have a whole week with my girlfriend, meeting her in person.
It's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Are you flying or driving?
Yes. Yes, I'm flying.
Thank goodness, because that's a hell of a drive.
Yeah.
I got a really good deal on the plane tickets, too.
Nice.
I kind of mentioned this last time. A little more than $600 round trip, including traveler's insurance.
Wow.
Pro tip, especially for American flights, plan for it to take as long as humanly possible to get through customs and everything.
Of course, of course. Yeah. My brother works at the TSA. He knows what that's like.
Ah, right. So I get you privileges to get in? No, it wouldn't. It's the TSA.
No. Aside from that, well, I bought The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess a little back after clearing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Free. I finally got around to collecting all the bonus relics, all of the hidden relics that unlocked the hidden area with the very difficult levels. I played through those 3 levels to see what they would unlock for me. And what did they unlock? Hard mode. Not happy. Not happy. I'm also... Second.
Yep. Something's happening.
I don't understand hard mode as an unlockable feature. That's stupid.
Yeah, give it a challenge. You should be able to pick a challenge as, like, going in.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I can understand the super hard modes, like the one-hit kill hard modes being, like, unlockable.
Yeah, like nightmare mode and stuff like that. Yeah, that makes sense. But just hard mode being locked from the start, that's stupid. Anyway, Patient, you were saying?
I was saying sorry for having to duck away for another call. This
Sorry?
one was a call. Spam calls are not good.
Not so much. Neither is spam texts.
No. Okay, so... yeah, I basically said, forget it. I didn't care enough to keep going at that point. I briefly considered going through all of the bosses on hard mode, but... well, hard mode is basically... you have 1 hit point, you don't get any bonus barrels along the way, you can't bring in any power-ups, and the enemies are tougher too. It is essentially nightmare mode, but that's not what I want to unlock after beating the game 100%.
Yep, that's your reward.
Nice
Congratulations.
bit of artwork would have been nice, maybe. Like, just something.
Oh no, there's more artwork if you beat the rest of it. I think I'm done with Tropical Freeze. So I've gotten a decent ways into The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I'm about to start the Water Temple.
This might be a better thing to talk about if Zero was here, so he could commiserate or This is basically my point. No one knows what you're talking about.
Do you know the basic, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, the general opinion on...
Water levels, that they
Yeah,
suck.
They
Yeah.
suck, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how bad this one is going to be, but... I mean, I've never been bothered by water levels myself, but... we'll see. We shall see. Just a little bit further, and then I'll have collected all 3 of the MacGuffins that I need to take on that guy. Already? Yeah, no, it's not going to be that simple. Zelda games do this all the time. You have one quest where you collect a bunch of stuff, then something happens changing the plot, so you have to collect more MacGuffins of a different sort.
Yeah.
In
Strange
any
how
case,
Zelda gets away with it and everyone else gets lambasted for having collectathon plots.
I like collectathons.
So do I.
In fact, one of the Crossbrain's longtime patrons, I basically pledged to them a while back, a countdown artist by the name of Speedster on YouTube. He recently came out with a top 10 collectathons list that he offered as a Patreon reward. I picked one countdown for him to do if you pledge at this level. It's been about a year in the making. It's out, and there's one game on it, an indie game that I'm actually planning on looking into. It made number 8 on the list. A Hat in Time.
Oh, heard about that one. Not in... Well... Yeah. Okay. I've heard about that it's a collectathon game, but the only thing I've heard beyond that is that there was some unfortunate choices in using promotional artwork from fans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep.
Oh, Shad.
Of course. That said, it's given me a bit more to look into Collectathons now.
Oh, tell me, was Psychonauts on the list?
It wasn't.
It's a terrible list. You shouldn't pay attention to it. You should play Psychonauts, though. If you like collectathon games, that is right up there.
It's also just a damn good game.
Yeah.
Although I haven't played the computer port. Is that any good?
I think the PC port's fine.
Just there's a link if you're interested. And I'll be completely honest. I went for Twilight Prince Sword.
Sorry, you're cutting out a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, so I went for Twilight Princess before Skyward Sword seemed a bit more interesting. But I went for Twilight Princess because, honestly, because of Speedster. He did a list a few years back of a top 100 favorite games. I haven't seen anyone else do that. I've seen someone else do a top 50, but anyway, Twilight Princess was right at the top, so I decided to give it a try. And I'm liking it so far.
Was Psychonauts on the top 100?
I'm not sure. Do you expect me to recall every single one of those games?
Casey,
Yes.
stop.
Alphabetically.
Alphabetically? Why would... Okay.
No.
I'm
That
I'm
puts
being
them-
unreasonable. That's the point.
But there were a dozen Legend of Zelda games on. He loves the Legend of Zelda series.
Alright.
Oh yeah, I also grabbed Xenoblade Chronicles. I found an original copy of it, and couldn't pass it up. So, I'll be playing that at some point as well. I blame Chuggaconroy for that.
The only thing I know about Xenoblade Chronicles is the Just a Pancake meme videos. That's all I know about it. Oh, and that Zero wouldn't shut up about it for like 6 months. That too.
I would recommend watching Chugga's playthrough.
So, yeah.
Is there anything else? Honestly, not sure. I feel like there should be something else.
I've had that feeling before. Feel like we can move on to Slicer and come back to you?
Nah, I mean, writing has been going the cross-brain. We've made some decent progress on the next chapter, and things are unfolding nicely. We're not far from the end of the chapter at this point. I'll need to check the word count to make sure that it's not less than 1,000. That would be disgraceful. And I do have a recommendation. Not for a fan fiction, actually. I just found something interesting browsing TV tropes, and I'd like to put it as a recommendation here. So, I'll save that for the end. And I think that that's everything.
Alrighty.
Well, aside from my ongoing workout progress, which is good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Slicer.
Honestly, I haven't really done a whole lot as far as like. Most of my free time has been filled with reading with this ring, which has been going great. I think I passed where I stopped reading before, because the evil path went pretty much just straight apocalypse, and that, or Acropolis, whatever. And that was like it. That was the focus of it, and I don't really care about that place or subject, so yeah.
It hasn't, actually.
Yeah, he gets a father box and a mother box. And
yeah, but it's,
so it's
aside from Darkseid showing up and visiting Apocalypse at one point, that's pretty much all that's happened with Apocalypse.
That's good, because it became, that's like, for a while, that was all the Renegade Path was about, and I don't care about that, so it wasn't very interesting. And I think that's what killed it for me before, so I think I'm past that point. So that's nice. That's quite good. Various other things I've just been kept up on. The two best friends are doing their second gig of Detroit Become Human, which continues to be amazing. They're going all gun all the time, which is just awesome. And actually, on the romantic front, I have actually found a very appealing person to be with. The problem is they're 3 hours away, so that's a little rough. But like 3 weeks of solid searching has resulted in nothing. So hey, I'm going to pursue this. So hope that goes well.
Go for it.
So yeah, that's really about it. Honestly, it's been pretty relaxed.
Yeah. Relax is good.
Oh yeah. I suppose it didn't happen to me directly, but my old desktop, I still have the hard drive off of it, and I've been kind of being lazy about getting data off of it because I didn't really need any of it. But our downstairs desktop died. The hard drive completely failed, and everything on it is lost. So I cleaned mine off and reformatted it, and we slotted it into that, and it's a functional computer again. It's just down to nothing. So we have to refill it, basically. So I'm just super glad I had that piece on hand. That saved us a bunch of money, so that's nice.
Yeah. Alright. Words. So I guess we're moving on to recommendations. I haven't got anything, but I know, I think Slicer had one and Patient had one.
I was just going to second your recommendation of Cardinal Redirection. It's a OC self-insert kind of thing with the main character taking the place of Cardinal, or inside the body of Cardinal Winchester. It's rather good, honestly. Things don't go the main character wants them to, and not in a try-hard, edgy kind of way. Like, they just... realism happens.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that he references the two best friends pretty regularly is pretty awesome, actually. It's nice to be able to understand some of the references that people make.
To clarify, I didn't understand any of the references, but I didn't care and enjoyed the fic anyway, so not required in any way.
Sweet. I'm glad we have both ends of that spectrum.
Yeah. Also, I completely skipped over Kenshi because everyone knows he doesn't have a recommendation.
Watch me get my ass kicked.
Okay.
Yeah, he provided us pugilistic kind of entertainment, so I guess he gets a pass this week. And last week. Good job, Kenshi.
Watching me get beat up will probably never go out of style.
Yeah. Patient, your recommendation.
Well, last week, the day that I posted, yes, it was on Wednesday, I was browsing the Karmic Death page on TV Tropes, just because I have odd liking for that trope. And a name of a manga series stuck out as just particularly interesting. Just something out of nowhere intriguing. I want to know what. And so I went into the TV Tropes page for the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service.
Okay.
So, here's the description we have. Answering an ad for volunteer work for extra credit, 5 students of a Buddhist university meet up at Aokigahara Forest, a real-life suicide spot.
Oh, God.
Kurosagi, the viewpoint character, appears normal. The rest are slightly unusual. Ao Sasaki runs an internet chat room for people who like to share pictures of corpses. Makoto Numata can use a pendulum, but can only find. Keiko Makino is a licensed embalmer in a country where close to 100% of bodies are cremated. Finally, Yuji Yata constantly wears a handpipe he believes is possessed by an alien called Kirilis. As Kurotsu decides that he doesn't really want to get mixed up with these weirdos, he turns to leave and finds a corpse is crawled behind him. His secret's out. He can talk to the dead and listen to their last wishes. Sometimes the dead come to him. When the events caused by the dead man's testimonial have finished, Sasaki gets an idea. There's not much demand for what the group can do amongst the living. There's always dead people. Some are bound to be grateful, the folding cash kind of grateful, for what they could do for them. Generally by giving the group permission to sell their belongings. After all, it's not like they'll need them. Thus is created the concept of the psychopomp fire, and so begins a dark, gray, squicky, yet frequently funny exploration of death and dying in Japan, and quite a few horror trips as well. It's interesting, episodic style, apart from the characters' backstories and the arc regarding the origin of Kurotsu's powers most chapters contain. The realistic art style and top-notch translation make it something definitely reading for those with a strong stomach. So, I haven't read this yet, I should clarify, but I want to. I am very much interested in this story.
Okay.
I would have recommended it for anime, but I can't because it's not an anime yet.
And also, that's not how Anime Reflux works, but yes.
You know what
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kurosagi corpse delivery service. That's my recommendation for
Okay. Patreon is next week, so that's not a thing. Yeah, so I guess that's an episode. What are you doing?
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So,
Trying to remember your thing.
a little bit. That is not an invitation for you to do it, patient.
episode 230. Fandom Flux forgets the outro.
Yeah, that just kind of went. I may or may not have sounded like I had a stroke there for a second, so apologies for that. So thanks for listening to the podcast. It was cool. Yeah. We have a Discord. It's public. You can talk to people that are kind of weird and a little disturbing occasionally, but they're fun. And also, we're on there most of the time. I'm on there most of the time. Zero's on there most of the time. Slicer drops in. Patient drops in sometimes.
Casey, are you trying to say that you're not among the rest of them disturbing but fun?
Yes.
He's different.
Now,
Yes.
why would you want to be different from...
Okay, that was special. Please donate on Patreon if you feel so inclined. We would very much appreciate it. Once again, thanks for listening to the podcast. Cool people. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you guys.
And that's how you change it up for the sake of changing it up. Yep.